Spider-Man, Brand New Day. It's about damn time this thing got released. After nearly 5 years in which Marvel Studios completely shat the bed and where Sony Pictures proved that they can't make a good movie to save their lives, this movie seemed like it could be either really good or really not. With Sony trying its hardest to force this to be another multiverse slopfest with their own crappy universe crossing over with Spider-Man and trying to shove in Maguire and Garfield, it's a friggin' miracle that this movie was the movie we ended up getting. It's all thanks to star Tom Holland and director Destin Daniel Cretton that we got the movie we ended up getting. I'm here to tell you that, as of the writing of this review, Spider-Man Brand New Day is my new favorite live-action Spider-Man film, even surpassing Raimi's original 2. Spider-Man Brand New Day, as opposed to going big or going home like its predecessor, decides to bring Spider-Man back to basics. No advanced Iron Man-like suits, no giant multiversal threats, just a broke college kid saving the Big Apple from a very simple yet very powerful and dangerous threat. Though that basic description may prove to some that this movie is more of the same, think again, because this is a very mature character study about loss and how one deals with loss. Both the protagonist and the antagonist suffer with severe loss. Peter Parker in this franchise has lost a lot. He lost his Uncle Ben. He lost his mentor, Tony Stark. He lost his anonymity when Mysterio revealed his identity. He lost his Aunt May, and most importantly, he lost his friends due to the spell to have everyone forget that Peter Parker is Spider-Man. All he has left is his life as Spider-Man. No friends, no family. Only small connections with people like Jean DeWolff and the Punisher. On the other side of the spectrum, there's Jean Grey. She has one connection, that being her sister Sarah. When Sarah is captured by Damage Control, all she has left are her powers. However, whilst Peter uses his powers for good and does what he does to protect the city of New York, Jean uses her powers as a means to achieve vengeance and goes on a rampage, using her powers in an attempt to find what she desires. Ultimately, both characters go on arcs that change them by the end, and they both learn that they are not alone in their struggles. Peter learns to play well with others, whilst Jean realizes that she can lean on others for her struggles. It's really, really great stuff, and it reminds me a lot of my own personal life in a way. This is the perfect type of story to start a new trilogy-long arc, and it's refreshing to see a Spider-Man movie have this kind of story again. There are a lot of characters in this movie, and that may alarm many people. Trust me when I say that the focus is always on Spider-Man, seeing as how this is his movie. That being said, the extended cast of Marvel characters that all come and go serve a purpose to the plot. Yelena Belova is there for a modern MCU tie-in, and also to establish Peter's connection to the new Avengers. The Hand have an alliance with Damage Control after their previous stint as a violent ninja clan. Bruce Banner is the science expert who helps Peter understand his mutation, and he also hammers home the theme of Peter's story, especially considering how Banner has been suppressing the Hulk for all these years. Speaking of, the Hulk is a reflection of Peter's new rage as Spider-Man, which made for a very effective scene. The Punisher is Peter's new sort of mentor figure. They help each other out on occasion, and this is just another one of their little adventures. Frank and Peter's banter was hilarious, and I really loved watching Jon Bernthal and Tom Holland bounce off of one another. I'd like to see more of that in the future. And as stated earlier, Jean Grey is the dark reflection of Peter, which was really awesome to see. Although it was a bit unconventional to have her as the antagonist, it makes sense why she's here, and the film takes full advantage of it. There's a particular scene where she uses her powers in a very devious way, and it freaked me out a ton. I definitely need to see a good version of the Dark Phoenix saga with her going full evil. As far as side characters are concerned, Ned and MJ from the last few movies appear, and the way they handle their inclusion is great, particularly the scene in Frank's lair and the apartment scene. Both beautifully written and fun to watch. I also loved Jean DeWolff's inclusion. Lisa Colon-Zayas is already great at playing the motherly figure, and seeing her being the new motherly figure to Spider-Man was great. The moments where she worries about Spider-Man like a mother would her own kid were top-notch. I loved their dynamic, and I hope to see more of it in the future. Bill Metzger was a surprisingly great villain. I know they used a twist to reveal that he's corrupt, but knowing that Metzger is an anti-mutant supremacist in the comics, it was kind of obvious. I'm not complaining, though. Tremel Tillman did a great job playing a manipulative leader, very reflective of corrupt CEOs in real life. Maybe he'll serve a bigger role in the X-Men films Marvel Studios are planning in the future. Finally, there's Scorpion, who I thought would have a bigger role to play in this film. They've built him up so much in the marketing, yet he only has a role in the first act. That being said, I thought he was great in the film, and the implied long-winded rivalry was stellar. Here's hoping they use him as the MCU Venom in the future. Now it's time to talk about the title character of the movie. This is not only Tom Holland's best performance as Spider-Man, but this movie has cemented him as my favorite of the 3 live-action Spider-Men we've gotten. I've watched Tom grow from the eager young teen wanting to prove himself in Captain America Civil War to a young adult isolating himself and trying to be his best, and I'm more than happy that he's finally embodying the Spider-Man I am most familiar with. He's been consistently great in all of his appearances, but this is the one that I think will cement him as the best of them all. Peter Parker in this movie has to live with the consequences of his past mistakes, and that pushes him to fully embrace the Spider-Man title. You can feel that he desperately wants a different life. He yearns to rekindle his friendships and a life as free of pain as possible, but unfortunately, he can't. However, one question remains. Is he Peter Parker, or is he Spider-Man? The whole movie he insists on getting out and being in the action. He refuses to take off his mask at every point when asked. He has made this his life. When he tries to be just Peter Parker, it doesn't work out for him. The best scene of the movie to me is when Peter and MJ talk about their past. He still wants to try and make it work, but MJ just doesn't remember. It is a really touching scene and will serve as powerful baggage for the rest of Peter's time in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. By the end of the movie, Peter learns to trust others and to balance his double life. It's an absolutely wonderful arc, and comes to show how far his character has come since the beginning. I can't wait to see more of him in the future, especially considering that there is a ton of great story potential. Let's talk about the production. This movie was directed by Destin Daniel Cretton, and he gave us the most authentic Spider-Man experience possible. I saw this movie in 3D, and whenever we get shots of Spider-Man swinging through the city, it gave me a swooping sensation. I felt as if I was actually swinging with Spider-Man. That is something I've never experienced before, and it's great. The cinematography as a whole is stunning. The slow-mo shots recreating classic Spider-Man covers, the dynamic shots for the action scenes, the focusing, it is all top marks. Really, this is some of the best camera work I've seen in a comic book movie. The effects also look great, particularly the scale of New York and the Hulk, who looks very similar to that of his model in the Avengers. It's also the first time since 2012 that we've gotten an on-screen Hulk transformation, and it was glorious to see unfold. They even brought back his green eyes, which I thought was neat. The best part of the production was the choreography. Spider-Man's moves are very smooth and fluid, and each attack has a great impact. It comes to show how much this character and the way they've shot him on film have transformed completely, and I'm all here for it. The music was composed by Michael Giacchino once again, and he brings the grand scale and the emotions of the movie in full swing. The MCU Spider-Man motif here is very somber and depressing, reflecting Peter's place in life. It's great stuff. It also has its own moods. It's powerful, exciting, and epic when it needs to be, and it's softer when it needs to be. I'm glad Giacchino has continued to stick around for as long as he has. It really is a treat. Finally, there's the action. This is a living, breathing comic book. I'm not just talking about the recreations of classic comic book covers. I mean that these action scenes captured the chaos perfectly. Spider-Man's battle with the Hand during the climax was great, as was his battle with Scorpion. My favorite action scene is probably the damage control sequence where the Hulk is finally unleashed. It was a really cool scene to see on the big screen. It's very great action that feels like it's ripped right from a comic book. So, if you can't tell by my long as hell review, I freaking adored Spider-Man Brand New Day. It's exactly what I hoped it would be, and so much more. If this is a sign of things to come from Marvel, then I'm totally on board. Keep Destin and Tom on story research department, and I'm sat day 1 or even day 0, like I was with this.
Nice flowers.
Oh, they're a housewarming gift.
I'm MJ.
I'm just a neighbor from across the hall.
Friendly neighbor.